Welcome to In Conversation, the space where we go beyond job titles to explore the stories, insights, and journeys of inspiring professionals. In today's My World of Work segment, we are joined by Tlotlo Lekgoba, a senior data scientist who's helping shape the future through data, one model, and insight at a time. From her academic foundation to navigating the evolving tech landscape, Tlotlo's story is one of intention, curiosity, and growth. She breaks down what it really means to work in data science, shares the skills that matter most in the field, and gives us a look into a day to day work, from building algorithms to solving real world problems with data. If you've ever wondered what it takes to thrive in this high impact, fast moving industry, or you're just curious about the woman behind the code, then this conversation is for you. Tlotlo, welcome to In Conversation.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
So, I would like you to tell us a bit about who Tlotlo is and about your academic journey.
So I think you've covered the gist of it. I am a data scientist. Academic journey. So I started with, or rather, I did a BSc in actuarial science and mathematical statistics, which I later supplemented with a couple of programming courses and delved straight into data science. So I moved directly from that degree into data science work. So I've been in the space for about, I think, 2.5 years now, almost 3 years. And yeah, that's the gist of it.
So, for a person who doesn't know what data science is, what would you say to them?
I'd say it's a pretty broad field. So a lot of people usually go to you are doing primarily programming, but I'd say you are basically storytelling with data. So you go from yes, the programming, but there's data collection, there's cleaning data sets, there's visualizations with the data sets that you're working on, and communicating whatever data work you do with people who aren't data scientists or who are not technically involved in your processes. So it's basically, I would call exactly from the words, a science of data where you get insights and you try to tell rich stories that enrich business insights or give, I guess, business people an edge with decision making using data.
So, would you say data science is the same as coding?
Not exactly. I think this is, yeah, a little bit of what I covered at the beginning. So I think coding is just a part of it. It's more a tool than the actual science itself. So programming is, I guess, what facilitates data science.
So, did you always know you wanted to become a data scientist, or is it something
Not
else?
re No, no. I think my path just evolved into it. So when you, like I said earlier, I did actuarial science, and I think when I was still in university and even in my final year, in my head, my trajectory was going to be getting straight into insurance, going all the way with exams and qualifying as an actuary. But I landed in data science, and I'm actually even going all the way with the data science instead. So because it was a double major that had quite intense statistics, it was somewhat an option, but definitely didn't envision it at the time.
So, for someone who would like to also pursue the same career as you, would you advise them to take the same route as you? I heard you say you studied actuarial science.
Not necessarily. I think there's many, many, many options. So a lot of the times requirements even just say as long as you have a math degree or a science degree, a lot of the things with data science you actually are able to learn on the job. So what I would say is a basic requirement is being in a STEM related field. And from there, you literally have people who go as far as moving from a health science degree into data work that's related to the medical field or the health science field. So as long as you are in STEM and there is somewhat of an interest in data science and you are able to pick up the coding and even go move with their advancements in data science, you can definitely get into it from any degree.
So, I've seen a lot of short courses about data science. Do you
Yeah.
recommend someone doing those courses without going getting a degree?
I think I'd say I'm 50-50 with that because I think there's a lot of value in actually going all the way because a degree, what that gives you is the fundamentals. What it also gives you is credibility when you try to get jobs in the space. So I think the short courses are good. They're very good for fast tracking your learning, picking up new advancements as they come out. So they are important. But to get a bit of a more solid, I guess, base, I think probably a mixture of the two. If there's obviously constraints and things like that, a good starting point would be those short courses, and then being able to just have your foot in the door, and then maybe picking up a full blown degree or a more, I guess, institutionalized education form of trying to learn the space or be in the space.
So if you could go back to the beginning of your career, would you still choose data science?
I used to say I actually wish I had done computer science in school, although I think the actuarial science is serving the data science work in many, many ways. I think that's where the world is going. It's most times very fulfilling work as well, so 100%.
So what would you say are the top three skills, soft and hard skills a person should have in order to do data science?
Hard skills, I think with where the field is going, as much as I'd say a mix of the basics of coding, whichever language you use, and where the field is going, I'd have that with a mix of just knowing how to read code, knowing how to do very good prompt engineering, because we have a lot of the AI tools out there doing majority of the coding these days. So I'd say getting with the times with prompt engineering so that you have that supporting your work and you are, I guess, also moving with the times. And then soft skills, being able to ask questions. It's a fast moving space, and being able to collaborate with people as well in the space, because that's always going to help you learn stuff quicker and learn from other people. So I'd say being able to collaborate well with other people, being able to ask for help, and just putting yourself out there in the space and not being like the typical or stereotypical coder in their own little room that where they don't really interact with other people in the space.
So what does a typical day look like in your role?
I think I have quite a lot of project work. It's predominantly project work. So it's not the same every single day. And what project work also means is you are doing things like either monitoring projects or pipelines that are existing, or you are building up a new project. So it's usually collaborating with people who are in the same space or who I work with on projects, briefing on where we are with things, and then getting straight into working on my parts of the project.
So
So
do
I
you
would say the actual coding and collaborating with people like the devs and people around me.
so would you say you guys integrate AI into your work?
No, quite extensively. I think, like as I mentioned earlier, that's where the space is going right now. Everyone is getting into things like your retrieval augmented generation, which we are on as well. So building our own chatbots, including that in our workflows. So the actual coding being supported by the AI, and building AI tools to integrate in other workflows and build entire projects around them as well.
So you're a senior data scientist. That means you started off at an internship level, then to junior, right?
Yeah. Yes, yes.
So during that time, did you have a mentor?
I would say it wasn't like I didn't have like an explicit this is a mentor mentee type relationship, but I definitely did have quite a lot of people around me who were supporting both my professional or like my technical getting my technical skills up, as well as integrating well into the professional workspace. So the type of internship program I was part of was like very good with the soft skills side of things, and making sure that you are integrating well, you are confident in the space, and you have a voice. And then because I was also then in a team full of data scientists, I could also have people learning from. So I think there was mentorship, not necessarily direct, but I did have a number of people who were providing mentorship around me.
So are you open to being into mentorship?
No, absolutely. I think, yeah, it's definitely something I would do.
That's awesome. So can you share a tough challenge you faced in your career and how you managed to navigate through it?
I'd say it actually goes back to what we just spoke about now. So when I was starting, because I was coming from an actuarial degree, didn't really have computer science experience. I'd say a lot of imposter syndrome at the beginning, because with coding you either can do it or you can't. There's really not a lot of like gray lines. So I was quite like a bit inconfident. No, I was not very confident at the beginning, and I had quite a lot of imposter syndrome coming into the space. I guess the mentorship and speaking to people about it and opening myself up to help from other people helped a lot with that. But I think it's something that even tends to happen quite a lot when you move from a space that wasn't computer science or applied mathematics, where people had exposure to coding, and then you are going straight into a job that requires you to have the skill set to be able to have or like meet your deliverables.
So, what's the most rewarding part of your job today?
What is my most rewarding part of my job? I'd say the fulfillment. I think the nice thing about data work is the fact that you get to see a project move from the very ground all the way up to the end, and you even get to see where your work ends. So, not feeling like just a number in a space, and the fulfillment you get from seeing something actually function well, do what was intended, and have be of some value or help to people. So, yeah, definitely that.
So, a lot of people just think that coding is, data science is just coding and numbers. What's something surprising or misunderstood about your field?
Definitely the amount of or how much you have to actually communicate your work. So it's not the picture I think a lot of people have where you are a nerd that is sitting on your computer the whole time and you are debugging code or doing things like that. A very big and I think very important aspect of it as well is communicating your results, interacting with people, figuring out the best ways to present your findings. So it's very, I guess I feel that still needs very good interpersonal skills, which I think a lot of people overlook or assume it's not that big in the space.
So, the tech world can be so overwhelming. How do you stay grounded, motivated, or continuously growing?
I think the biggest thing is making sure that you are continuously learning, because the last thing you or like you wouldn't want to find yourself in a position where you have things like imposter syndrome creeping back in because you just aren't keeping up with learning new stuff in the space, engaging with people in the space. So having a very clear set goal about where you want to take your career and making sure that you are consistently learning and evolving with the space as it evolves as well.
So, from your first job to now, what has your professional journey looked like? Any unexpected detours or defining moments?
I think most of it has actually just felt like a very big detour right from the beginning, because I wasn't even expecting to be in the space. So I've just been very intentional about, yes, have clarity develop at some point, but also letting things play out. I guess, sorry, please give me 1 second. I'm going to come right back to you.
Okay, no problem.
Sorry about that. Could you please repeat the question for me so I start from the beginning?
Okay, let me check. I think the question was, the tech world can be overwhelming. How do you stay grounded, motivated, and motivated?
Okay, Okay, so I think a big part of that would definitely be trying to always make sure that you keep up with any new advancements or anything new that comes up in the space, just so that you don't build up things like imposter syndrome from not knowing what's happening in the space. And as long as you have a very clear idea of where you want to take your career and these are the people that are supporting me, and you focus on that with the learning, I think it becomes a lot less daunting.
We've touched about AI. Do you think AI is something that could replace the work you guys do?
Do I think AI is something that will replace the way people do things?
The work that you guys do as data scientists?
The work that not exactly. As much as there are really insane advancements with trying to build models that have human intelligence, I think we are years and years away from hundreds of years away from getting to a point where we can even imagine that being the case, because behind these things there has to be people facilitating how they get used, how they get built, and you can't really replace things like human creativity. You can't replace the way people are able to build up very bright concepts and have foolproof solutions around them. So there are very intelligent models and machines out there, I'll admit that. But I think if anything, it is definitely going to transform the way people work, the way people think about things. But there's always a human touch that's going to be needed in every single one of the applications that then get or arise or come out of the whole AI boom that's happening right now.
I see. Can you share a tough challenge you've faced in your career and how you managed to navigate it through it?
So I think still similar to what I mentioned earlier, was just still a lot of imposter syndrome when I started my career because I wasn't from being in the data science space. So definitely feeling like I'm in the space, and to be able to have my deliverables out there, I actually have to know how to code end. So picking those skills up during that process, I was having to go through quite a lot of imposter syndrome, but I think I had great support during that process, and that's not the case anymore.
So looking to the future, is there a big goal or dream project you'd love to work on?
I think right now I'm kind of living in it, and I wouldn't even actually be, because there's so many changing things and they're changing very quickly. I think that's going to look very different from what I'm imagining right now. And what I mean by feeling like I'm working in it is the fact that the type of projects I've had the privilege to be involved in are right at the pinnacle of where things are with data science, or like the developments that are happening. So definitely I would want to get in more into agentic AI stuff, but from seeing that there's still quite a bit of advancements that are probably coming our way, I'd say it's something I'm going to wait out a bit to be fully certain of this is a specific type of project or a dream project I'd want to work on.
So for someone just starting out in data, maybe a student or a recent graduate, what advice would you give them?
I'd say honestly, it just keeps going back to learning and being a very curious person who is very serious about advancing themselves, professional development, and consistently putting themselves in spaces that support that. So I'd say surround yourself with people in the space who are just as hungry for growth and development within the area, and you would then be guaranteed a very good run in it.
Toto, I would like to thank you for the time that you've given us. You've shared quite a lot with us. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
So I don't know if maybe there's anything you want to share with the people. If you do, you can go ahead.
No, I think just to wrap it up, there's a lot of really amazing stuff that has been done, and there's a lot of companies across multiple industries, be it your health, fund management, the investment industry, where everyone is picking up on the power of data in making business decisions, and even in your day-to-day life, supporting the type of decisions you make with your money, the type of decisions you make with your investments and so forth. So there's a lot of power in data, and it's just very exciting that the world has, I think it's always woken up to it, but we have far better tools now. We have very exciting developments that people are jumping on. So very exciting space to be in.
So one last question. Are data scientists work in every industry?
Definitely. Remember, every industry is data intensive. You're going to have lawyers who are writing paper, who are writing billing stuff every single day. You are going to have investment people. You are going to have, there's literally data in you. If you are shopping on 6060, for example, there's data involved in that process, or there's data mining with every single thing. And the nice thing about the AI advancements is the fact that it's not just even the numbers or the quantitative data. We can even get into messages, into text data. So because there's literally, you are a data point right now yourself. There's data everywhere in every single industry. So absolutely.
So as a data scientist, can you hack someone's computer?
So I think that's a very broad question. There's people who specific skill set is that, who are hackers. There's people, remember, there's people who are developers, and then you have your data scientists. So I think that would even be closer to people who are developers. But I think great question, because it brings me to the fact that as much as, yes, it's quite big, a big part of what's happening right now is being very responsible about the type of things you do with the tools that are existing. So we try to err on the side of data security, protecting people's information, and not being too quick or like being too excited to a point where there's no responsible usage of data science and you end up doing things like hacking people's computers. So definitely far from all of that.
Yeah. Tlotlo, thank you once again for being with us.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. Cheers.
So, Tlotlo, before you leave,